Ethan is a software engineer living in London. His life is peaceful alongside his wife, Claire. They have been married for 3 years, and although work can be stressful, they make an effort to spend time together. But everything begins to change when he starts receiving a series of messages from an unknown number. At first, Ethan doesn't think much of it. It could be a misdialed number, a bad joke, or even a scam attempt. But over time, the messages become increasingly strange. They arrive in the middle of the night and contain cryptic phrases. "Do you remember that night? I'm still waiting for you. We had an agreement." Initially, he ignores them. But when the messages start mentioning places he has recently visited, a cafe in Soho, Hyde Park, a quiet street where he had taken a walk, Ethan starts to feel uneasy. Someone is watching him. But who? Things take a turn for the worse when Claire accidentally reads one of the messages. "Ethan, what is this?" She holds up his phone, her gaze full of suspicion. Ethan freezes, a cold shiver running down his spine. "I don't know. It's just a stupid prank." "A prank? Who plays pranks like this?" Claire presses her lips together, her voice trembling. "Are you hiding something from me?" He doesn't know what to say. The more he tries to explain, the more suspicious Claire becomes. A wife discovering that her husband is receiving mysterious messages from an unknown woman, who wouldn't be doubtful.
"Claire, please trust me.
I don't know who's sending these messages. But I will find out." She looks at him for a long time, then turns away. "You'd better." Ethan decides to investigate. He tries calling the number, but no one answers. He sends messages back, but there is no reply. He searches through his old contacts and messages, trying to remember if he knows anyone who would send such messages. Then, a name comes to mind, Rachel. Rachel was a former colleague from an old company. They had worked closely together for some time. She was intelligent but reserved, always carrying a sense of sadness. Ethan remembers an evening when they sat in a cafe in Brighton. That night, she talked about her struggles, something she couldn't clearly express, only that she was in trouble. But then he lost contact with her. Work, family life, all of it distracted him, and Rachel became just a fading memory. When he looks up the phone number online, he discovers a shocking truth: the number used to belong to Rachel. But she disappeared a year ago without a trace. Guilt washes over Ethan. Had he ignored Rachel's cry for help? Had she tried to reach him before she vanished? He recalls that night. What did she say? Was she trying to tell him something? He decides to dig deeper. He contacts some old colleagues, but no one knows what really happened to Rachel. Some say she simply left the city, while others suspect she had personal troubles and wanted to cut ties. Then, the final message arrives.
"Meet emitere, one last time."
Ethan knows where he has to go, the old cafe in Brighton where he last spoke to Rachel. That evening he drives there, his thoughts swirling with unease. The cafe has long been closed, but when he arrives, a woman is waiting for him. It's not Rachel. "Are you Ethan?" the woman asks with a trembling voice.
"Yes. Who are you?" "I'm Sophie, Rachel's sister. Ethan Fretzes." "Sophie?
But why?"
"Shetakis adi brit."
"I used Rachel's number. I had to find you. You were the last person who spoke to her before she disappeared." Ethan feels his face grow hot. I don't know what happened. That night, we only talked about work and some personal issues. But she didn't say anything specific. Sophie studies him for a long moment before nodding. "She left some notes. Your name was in them. I think she wanted you to know something."
Sophie Hans isen a small notebook.
Inside, he sees Rachel's hastily written words. "They are watching me."
"I ken trast anione animore."
Ethan was the last to understand me, but will he believe me? The words send a chill through Ethan. Who was she talking about?
Sophie Scheckes herhet.
I don't know. But before she disappeared, she was working for a big financial firm. Maybe she discovered something she wasn't supposed to. Ethan feels a cold dread creeping into his chest. Rachel had tried to warn him, but he hadn't listened. Now she was gone, perhaps forever. Although Ethan can't bring Rachel back, he now understands that the messages were no prank. They were a reminder that a single missed conversation can change a person's fate forever. After that night, Ethan returns to his normal life, but he is no longer the same. He learns to listen more carefully and to pay attention to the small signs. And most importantly, he now knows that sometimes, an unanswered message is the worst thing that can happen to someone.